All right, so far in algebra, we have solved equations, we have graphed equations, and now we'll be writing equations. In the previous lesson, we worked with writing equations of lines given the slope and intercept. Today, we'll be looking at writing equations of lines given the point and the slope. So at the end of this lesson, you'll be able to write an equation of a line given the slope and a point that is on the line. All right, so there are some notes that I put in your packet that I'm actually going to be crossing off. So I just want you to go ahead. I wrote them in here just so you could cross them off. And we're going to refer to one thing, but then there's another method that I kind of like using better now. So I'm going to refer to that method. I am going to be writing some things down here in the blue, which you do not need to write down. But then when I come up here and write it in the white, I do want you to write it down. Okay, so slope-intercept form you guys found yesterday was y equals mx plus b. All right, so then we're going to, when I get an answer, my answer will look like that, y equals mx plus b, the way that I'd want. The reason that I would want it to look like that is because then it's going to be easy for me to graph it. But we are going to be investigating that's called a point slope form. And we will go ahead and write this down because I'm in the white section. Okay, so I'm just going to show you where the point slope form comes from. You do not need to write this down. I just want you to see where it comes from. So if you recall, when we find the slope, we always call it m. And when I get the slope, we are going to, remember it's just the y distance over the x distance. And to get the y distance and x distance, remember we're subtracting the y's and we're subtracting the x's, okay? So just to distinguish that those are different y's, we're going to have y minus, y1 and x minus x1, just to show that those are two different y's and two different x's that we're getting that from, okay? So now we have m equals y minus y1 over x minus x1, okay? So if I, multiplied both sides by x minus x1 sub 1, what's going to happen? These are going to cancel, and I'm going to be left with something. I'm going to write this backwards too. I'm going to be left with the y minus y sub 1 is going to equal m x minus x sub 1. I just changed the order that I wrote it in, but it doesn't change my answer. So this is actually known as point slope form. It came from the slope formula. Okay, how we find slope. So the point slope form, I do want you to write down now. We're going to have y minus y sub 1 is equal to m x minus x sub 1, okay? And we're going to be, when we're finding equations of lines, generally, unless I'm specifically given the slope and the intercept, we will be using the point slope form, and then we'll convert it to slope intercept form, okay? All right, so let's go start with some examples. Please notice that we're going to be writing, the directions will be to write an equation of the line that goes through the point 6, negative 3, and this one will have a slope of negative 2. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do, I'm going to go ahead and write down the point slope form, Okay, and the next thing that I'm going to do, x6 is an x value and the negative 3 is a y value. So basically from here, this is called the point slope form because you can plug in a point and you can plug in the slope. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put y minus the y value, actually I'm going to call this x1 and y1 just to keep it straight here. So the first y is negative 3, and then equals m is negative 2, and then we have x minus x1, x sub 1 is 6. Okay, now over here, I'm just going to clean this up. Instead of having y minus negative 3, we all know that that is actually y plus 3. And then from here, I did say that I would like it to be in y-intercept form because, again, I can graph that equation. So what I'm going to do from here is cleaning it up. I am going to have y plus 3 is equal to, well, I already have an equal sign. I'm going to distribute this, or I could do an area model. Both of them give me the same answer. So this will become negative 2x plus 12. If I come down here, negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 6 is 12. So either way, we get the same thing. And then notice it still does not say y equals because there's the plus 3 there. So I just need to subtract 3 from both sides. So I'm going to have y equals negative 2x plus 9. And notice I did put the negative 3 on with the 12 because I have the 3 did not have an x on it. So there we go. So my answer is y equals negative 2x plus 9. Notice that it would be very easy for me to graph that equation if I wanted to. Okay, so the next one we have the write an equation of the line that goes through the point negative 2, 7 and has a slope. This time we'll have it have a slope of 1/2. Okay, so first thing that I like to do, I like to label my x and my y, but we'll put little sub 1s on each of those just to make it easier. So now I'm going to have y. I always write my equation, write my point slope equation. Okay, and if you forget to put the 1s in there, that's really not too big of an issue. So I'm going to have y minus my y I have labeled as 7, and then my slope is 1/2, and then x minus my x I have labeled as negative 2. Notice again, those are going to cancel each other out. And so then from here, I'm going to get rid of my parentheses. So I'll have y minus 7. I'll have 1/2 x plus 1. And again, if I wanted to do an area model for that, 1/2 times x is 1/2 x, 1/2 times 2 is 1. So either way, we get that answer. And then here, to get the y by itself, I'd simply add 7 to both sides of the equation. So now I'm going to get y is equal to 1/2 x plus 8. And that is my equation of my line. Alrighty, I will do one more, I think, and then I'll have you tackle one. Let's say I write an equation of the line that goes through the point 5, 8, and it has a slope of, let's do, I guess we'll do a slope of 4 would be fine. Okie doke, so label my x and my y. So write my equation, y minus y is equal to mx minus x. And then when I'm going to have y minus, my y value is 8, and then my slope is 4, and then x minus my x value is 5. Then from here, we just need to clean it up. So I'm going to have y minus 8 is equal to, either distribute or do your area model. You should get 4x minus 20. And then to finish it, to get rid of that minus 8, we will do plus 8. So now I'm going to have y equals 4x minus 16. Probably the difficulty is just getting your minuses and pluses straight on these problems. All right, so now number 4, we are going to write an equation of the line that goes through the point negative 8, negative 3. And let's have it have a slope of negative 1. Okay, so what I would like you to do at this point in time is please pause the video and find the equation of the line and then come back and see how you did. Alrighty, welcome back. We are going to go ahead and solve this one. I'm going to label my x and my y. I'm going to, of course, write my equation in in point slope form. All right, and then from here, I'm going to have y minus my y is negative 3. My slope is negative 1. Lots of negatives on this one. X minus my x1 is negative 8. So I'm going to have lots of canceling here first. Minus negative, we know, just turns into plus or positive. So now from here, I'm going to be distributing. So I'm going to get y plus 3 is equal to negative 1x minus 8. If I did an area model, you did the area model, we'll have x, 8, negative 1 times x is negative 1x, and negative 1 times 8 is negative 8. So get the same thing. And then from here, in order to make it say y equals, we will just subtract 3. So I will get y equals negative 1x minus 8 minus 3 is minus 11. So hopefully you got that too. All right, problem 5. A carnival charges, let's say we're going to have them charge $2 per ride after an entrance fee. You paid a total of $22.50 after 6 rides. Write an equation that gives the total cost as a function of the number of rides. So find the total cost, and then we'll find the total cost. So 2 things we've got to do here. We're going to write an equation, and then let's find the total cost if we ride 11 rides. Okay, so here we go. The biggest thing is I'm going to write this as a point real quick. We'll have R be our X value, and we'll have C be our cost, which will be our Y value. So I'm going to have to just get some information from here. I noticed that the carnival charges $2 per ride. So every ride I go on, my cost is going to go up 2. So this actually is going to be representing my slope. So I'm going to be putting M equals 2, and it's going to be positive because it's increasing how much I have to pay. And then I also noticed that after 6 rides, I paid a total of $22.50. So I'm actually going to write a point of that. I rode 6 rides and my cost was $22.50. All right, so now from here, you'll notice we have a point and we have the slope. So I'm going to write my point slope form, y minus y sub 1 equals mx minus x sub 1. And then I'm going to label my x and my y, of course. So now I'm going to have y minus my y is $22.50 is equal to slope, which is 2, x minus my x, which is 6. And then from here, it's just a matter of cleaning it up. So I'm going to get rid of my parentheses first. So I'll have y minus 2250. If I distribute that, that will be 2x minus 12, whether you used arrows or the area model. And then from here, just continuing to clean it up, I'm going to add 2250 to both sides. Notice I always add it to the number without the x on it. So I'm going to have y equals 2x minus 12 plus 2250 would be positive 1050. All right, so from here, that's my equation. All right, and then the question was, so that was the first part. The question said find the total cost for 11 rides. So if I went on 11 rides, we know that's the R value. And actually, you know what I really should have done instead of y equals 2x plus 50? I think I'm going to write the cost is equal to 2 times the number of rides plus 1050, just to be correct. So we're going to have C is equal to 2 times 11, because that was the number of rides, plus 1050. So this will equal 22 plus 1050. And then from here, we will do 22 plus 1050, and that will end up being $32, excuse me, and 50 cents. So that's how much you would pay for to go on 11 rides. So hopefully now you can write an equation of a line given the point and slope.